All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out to the Black and Gold Room for our weekly football coaches luncheon, I should say, press conference, but it's coaches luncheon. Had a tough weekend this past weekend against Jackson State. It was a heartbreaking loss, 27-30. Slew of 5 touchdowns were scored in about a 12-minute span in the second half. Things looked good for us for most of the game. However, a few mishaps on defense, which I'll let Coach Thomas get to that. But overall, I mean, he had a freshman quarterback throw for 300 yards, 27 for 41, 2 touchdowns. It's just unheard of. And then also we've got Taylor Porter, ran for a career-high 173 on the ground. He continues to prove every week, week in and week out. He's currently ranked 8 in the FCS in rushing yards, and he's 2nd in the conference with 638 rushing yards. So big junior running back as well. Also Josh Wilkes, who hasn't played in a few games, still ranked 1st in the conference in receiving yards. Let that sink in for a minute. So Jamie Gillen, of course, like we mentioned, had a 90 or 80-yard punt last week. Good for number 1 in the entire FCS. So remember that as well. And the freshman, Skylar Perry, quarterback, ranks 5th in the conference in passing yards at 671. So without further ado, I will introduce the Golden Lions head coach, Cedric Thomas, and he'll discuss this past weekend's game and a heartbreaking loss against Jackson State. Coach?
First off, just kind of recapping the games. Great week of practice. The guys, the maturation from where we were early in the year to now is just, it's amazing. Now I talked about the cognitive part and the analytic part. Now they understanding numbers, they understanding percentages as it relates to formations and concepts. So you heard them that first half, it was indicative of that, but that started with a great week of practice. We knew in certain personnel groupings we would get certain plays, and I asked them maybe a couple weeks ago, what happens on that first snap, and they said, Coach, we don't think about it. So our whole deal has been in thought, understanding information. And they did a good job of it, starting with Kevin Carter, the senior linebacker. He was in tune. He was calling out the formations. He was calling out the plays. Sean Steele on the back end, did a good job of communicating, and everybody just was on one page. That's why you saw the product look like it did. Just with that part, the first half, played physical up front defensively, had to move some people around, and those guys answered the challenge. And they started out, playing really fast, on the defensive side. Offensively, those guys up front kind of manned line of scrimmage. Taylor ran the football hard. Skylar made some good decisions. Tyron Raft helped us out in the pass game, along with Kobe McNeil. So, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot. Kicking game wise, we come into the game with not one field goal block, and we leave the night, with 3 of them. So I got to get that part corrected and fixed. We know we got one of the best kickers in the nation, not just in the league. We just got to give them opportunity to get it off. Guys up front, take your hat out to Coach Hughes. They did a good job schematic wise of getting their kid. That was about 6'5", 6'6", put him in the A gap. Well, our guard's about 5'10", 5'11". Was able to get with his arm span, wingspan about 7'4", 7'2". Was able to get in that A gap and get some of them balls blocked and deflected. So we come out the first half, play well, still feel like we left some plays out there. Go in the second half, my whole thing is just don't look at the score, just be blessed with the opportunity you had to play. Don't worry about the time running out. And we come out, made some minor corrections, and just wanted to finish. Last year, I think it was 69 points in 7 conference games that we lost by, and we just wanted to make sure that we put our best foot forward going. As the game continued, defensively came out, moved around, kind of did some things. Offensively, they started to get their groove back and made a few plays. Had a big touchdown pass that they completed. And, the biggest thing on the sideline, I didn't hear any negative anything. That was positive. We heard the offense, hey, let's go, guys. We got you. We got your back. Same thing offensively. They go down and score, or we're struggling there for a bunch of yards in possessions. But the defense was all in tune to what was going on. So that was really exciting. That's the things that I want to see as we go forward. No back and forth. It's not offense, defense. It's we fence. Everybody's together on the same page. So. Back and forth. Jackson made some adjustments. We made some adjustments, and we get a big field goal block. Again, it kind of takes the air out of us. But we come back and battle hard. Coach Gales get them guys up and down the field, and give ourselves a chance to win it. And got a good call. And the kid kind of lost the ball, and the lights got picked off a man concept, and couldn't find the football, and they hit us with a big 70-yard play. And then offensively, we come back driving it down the end and couldn't get it in. And, we saw something all week from a special team standpoint that the fake was there. And they did a good job of, the kid on the edge just having, the awareness to see, we got one of the most athletic kickers in the league. And if I had to do it again, I'd do it all over just because of that look on 3 games. And then they just came and gave us a different look, and the play wasn't there on the fake. And, that's where we ended. But overall, just excited and blessed to be associated with these guys because the future bright for them. Just to see the improvement, the tackling. We did a better job. We went from 35, 39 missed tackles against Prairie View to 21 or 2 against FIU, and now we down at 8 or 9 tackles being missed, and we just got to continue to build on that through preparation. Coach Warren doing a great job on the defensive side of the ball with those guys through preparation. Still got to clean up some of the red zone, opportunities. We're not scoring as much as we need to in the red zone. And the kicking game, that's unheard of. I got to do a better job of schematically seeing that and making the necessary adjustments in the course of the game. But overall, just with the young men, I'm proud of them. I told them to keep their head up. After 1 or 2 losses, it was maybe 4 or 5 crying. And then now it's almost the whole team, because they know they're doing everything right from a preparation standpoint. And they deserve to win that football game. We had a situation where, 1 touchdown to me, it just wasn't a touchdown. We sent the play in, and, it is what it is on that part. But just like I told them, everything we do, we apply it to life, and that's life. Sometimes you're going to do things right, and there's going to be some situations that you're faced with that just not going to go your way. But do you cry over spilled milk and whine and complain and point fingers and make excuses, or do you roll your sleeves up and you say, let's go to work? And even with that play, them guys, they never wavered. It was like, all right, let's get the next one. Let's get the next one. But I also told them, look, we play through the whistle. If you don't hear a whistle, hey, finish the play, and I understand. He like, Coach, but what if I jump on him and he down and he got a personal foul? And I'm like, I understand totally, but let's deal with the 15 yards instead of the 55 yards. So that kind of entailed just the overall view of the game. But, I thought we got better on all phases. Just the mental part, the biggest thing is just understanding concepts and looks that we got. And I take my hat off to that Jackson squad. We let them hang around, and they did what they supposed to do by winning the football game. But yet we're not there yet. We're not playing to win the football game. We're playing not to lose. You can watch them look at that clock over and over, and they're not. They waiting for the time to run out as opposed to, hey, look, we're gonna finish it. The old school little fighting game, Mortal Kombat at the end where we talk about finishing. I said that's the mantra, that's the battle cry. That's what we want to do. So we're still not there yet. We got to learn how to win. We got to learn how to put people away. We got to learn how to, do things right. My young men don't understand right now the magnitude of a certain play. So for you guys that was there, we had 2 interceptions, 3 total that just hit guys right in the hand with nobody by them. But when you talk to them, it's almost from a selfish standpoint, not truly, them being selfish. They want to play for them. But until they don't understand yet, how does it relate to the overall game? Meaning the offense having 3 more possessions. The offense get a chance to have more plays and more opportunities. So, and I told them you got to make them plays, man. You got to make those plays. And once you tell them that, Sunday, they understand. Like, Coach, I never looked at it like that. I'm like, yeah, I know you want the pick for you just from a personal standpoint, but for a team standpoint, if you get that play, not offense, get a few more plays, and the time of possession goes down, and you never know where it goes. So we just got to make those plays, and those guys was, hey, Coach, I'm getting on the jug machine. I got to catch the football. But we gonna keep plugging at it, keep getting better, and we know as we writing in that journal, man, we're gonna continue to get better and continue to learn how to win. It's a process, and I've been a part of it. And I told them, from 2-8, 4-7 to championship, don't listen to nobody else. Let me and these coaches control it, because I've been there and I've been a part of it. And until we do those small things right, we won't be rewarded, with those wins. A lot of people want them, but like I told them, that won't define us. When we do it right, and we continue to do the small things, then we're gonna get our blessings. The football God's gonna take care of. So they understand it. Got up and fellowship and went to church. I thought that was perfect. We needed that to be able to go in, and not just that part, but then when they talk in the building, they get in the study hall hours and they go talk to Miss Hemsley, and she say, what was the word about? And they can talk about the word. They can give you, what was discussed, in that fellowship. So I got them right where I want them. The coaching staff, also administration, we just excited, to continue to get better and grow, as a team, and we get this Golden Line pride, playing at a high level.
Beautiful, Coach. All right. At this moment, we'll take questions from the audience regarding the Jackson State game.
Super Brown, Pound of Commercial. All right, Coach, could you just, from the defensive standpoint, I noticed after they came off the field, you would go do some hands-on coaching yourself. Have you made that adjustment as a head coach over the season?
Yeah, I kind of sat back, early, just kind of, doing the administrator role, but we understaffed, one, and two, Coach Quinn's in the box, and so now, from a defensive back standpoint, it's the group I really talk to the most. You tell us a lot by kids' eyes. You got to look at their eyes, because they won't tell you the truth all the time. So when you kind of get face to face with them, they'll let you know. And then I can see some things. And Coach Quinn do a great job from in the box, just being able to, have me to look at things and relay things back to them. But I think that's been one of the biggest things, is me just getting my hands dirty with them. Coach Warren, he calls it, he sets it up, does a great job with them. But I'm kind of the overseer to come down and just say, hey, look, these are the things that we got to make sure we do. And it's always good to have a head coach, just like with the administrator role, for the AD to come, talk to coaches and be in the building and such. It's just always good to have that presence. So that's kind of some adjustments we made this game.
All right, now that you have a chance to go back and look at the film on those blocked field goals, kicks, was there something you seen that they did, different, or was it just them just pushing through?
Yeah, one is weight room. They got a kid 6'5", 6'6", with a wingspan about 7'2", that's just sitting over the guard, and they got 3 on top of the guard, and that's 900 pounds, and we got 600 pounds trying to stop a moving object, and they just got some force on a smaller guy, and just got some knockback, and then they just used their length to just explode over. They wasn't running them over. They were just getting pushed and then just jumping. And it was a smart deal on them. So we'll have to move some kicking points, and just kind of move it around a little bit when we get in those looks, and just get firm. If we got to put some bigger guys inside to just close that off, because it's a copycat league. Valley going to look at the tape and expect to do the exact same thing, because we would. But I got to get it fixed. We got such a great kicker. We got to give them opportunity to block for them and get those guys down.
All right. Now, I know prior to the game, you talked about how they would play 2 quarterbacks they have in the past. Could you just talk about, did the quarterback change they made in the middle of the game, did that have an effect on the defense? And how, after Hayes came back in, did you feel like he was more composed?
Nah, they was ready to quit. Coach was just looking for anything. They just put him in just because, the first kid was struggling. We did a good job of just kind of smothering him, closing, passing lanes. Like I said, we should have had 2 picks, should have had 4 total, and all against him. So they was just looking for a spark when they brought that, the other kid in, and he didn't do much. So they just, brought the starter back in, just trying to find anything. And we kind of, got picked on a man concept, and even then the ball floated. It was a dead duck in there. And my kid just turn around and go find the play, just finish the play, and not look for another man. We still make that play. So we go back and look at the film overall. We're not ready to win those type of football games yet. You look at the numbers. I mean, we totally dominate the football game from a statistical category. But yet, until we do those small things, you won't get blessed by playing bad and winning right now. And I don't want it. The worst thing that can happen with my group of guys is for them to not do things right and cut corners and win and have success, because then they're going to feel like, well, we ain't got to do it right. We'll still get these blessings. So I want it the hard way. Until we clean up the small things, clean up all the things internal, I want them to feel that way. So when they do it the right way and they understand, hey, look, it's all in. We know we reap the rewards of our hard work and all the little things that's dorm room, classroom, administration, and all that. Then we'll get what we deserve.
I just now that you have a chance to go into a bye week before you play the Valley there, could you just talk about the emphasis that you'll be putting on during the bye week?
Always fundamentals. Get a chance. One, health. You always want to get healthy. We want to see, can Shannon throw it around next week when he get back? Skylar really playing on one shoulder. Get a chance to get the wrecking ball and Taylor Porter, off that ankle a little bit. But also develop some kids, with this 4-game redshirt deal coming down the stretch. You get a chance to look at a kid like Omar and Tavion Turner and Isaiah Singleton and some of the guys who might not have played a bunch, but see, can you bump them into a more demanding role down the meat of the schedule? So, the biggest thing is health, getting in that treatment room, getting iced up, getting the kids feeling good. Second thing, first academics. That's going to be the first piece. We're going to cut down practice a little bit just so they can go in. Administrators probably saw coaches, walking around today. We hit every building up, including the dorms, at 9:30, 10 o'clock, just to be visible, talking to teachers, making sure that we got opportunity. Hey, we out here to see them, let them get their bodies well, but then going back to fundamentals. Special team be huge today. And then we'll continue to just work, basic fundamentals to just kind of keep our edge and throw 30 minutes of Valley in, every day to get the heads up on them and recruiting.
Tyrese Boone with UAPB TV and Hot 89.7. So you mentioned the eyes of defense a couple of weeks ago when referencing defensive coverage and the problems that you've had in defensive coverage. How much have they improved? You saw it with the interceptions and such. How much have they improved?
Light years better. Light years better, and it just come with processing information. It's all new to them. We coach and we teach complex style of defense, and you got to study. We huge into the analytics, we huge into the numbers, we huge into formations, and my babies had never been a part of that. They was more so like we say, Miss Johnson backyard, where you just go back there and run around, throw the ball up, and whoever get it. And now we saying, nope, we need you to slow down and think. We need you to process. If 61 is, if the stripe of his helmet is looking a certain way, where he probably go, and they're like, Coach, I ain't never look at that. So now we put a cut up where it's 100 plays, and now 50 of them, he like, Coach, you going to the left. Coach, you going to the left. Oh, okay. So don't you hold that information to yourself. What you need to be doing? Hey, he going to the left. So now all of them they looking at their individual keys where, my babies had never really been taught football that way. So now when I talk about them eyes, when we got tips and keys and clues, now this week everybody knew and everybody communicated, and I was so excited about to see them make the maturation from a football standpoint to be able to go out on Saturday, to go out and complete the task just from a game plan standpoint. And it's the exact same way in the classroom. Some of them can just sit in there and they visual learners. Some got to actually do it. Some can listen to it, and they just got to make sure whatever, makes them better for us, the learning part, and even as coaches, we got to give it to them in all three facets where they can do well. And I thought we did a great job, not from a coaching staff standpoint, but as a building, everybody doing a good job of making sure they know. But I got to commend them young brothers for being all in on it. You look at their phones and they got the app and they looking at the plays. You go through the dorm this week and they got, the numbers, and they asking you, hey, Coach, what about 80% on this and that? So I thought it was just a telltale sign of the growth of where we headed just from a football standpoint.
Shifting over to the offensive side of the ball where, you could definitely tell the game plan was working out to an extent, but what do you think it needs to take? What do you think they need to do to capitalize on that red zone that they've been, coming up short in?
The penalties, discipline. We gotta put them in situations where we strain them mentally, get them tired because, false starts. Coach go from a 2nd and 5 to a 2nd and 10. That ball go from the 4-yard line to the 9-yard line, and as a play caller, that's totally different. So that's what we got to do. Jackson did a good job when we moved. They yell shift, and we jumped. you know, and coach just tell them, hey, just calm down, you know, Skylar's not talking. We only go on Skylar's command. So, you know, we got to do a better job of just putting them in those situations in practice so we don't get the false starts, we don't get the holding penalties, so we can get touchdowns. You know, like I said, Jameis a good kicker, but we don't want to just rely on 3 points. We want 6 points. So me and Coach Gales will get in the lab, and we'll draw up some things that, you know, we feel like we can give our kids the best position, the best opportunity to score touchdowns and not field goals.
Last question. Skylar Perry, you've called him the future before, and this is the first game he's really gotten to prove his maximum potential, really. He did so well throughout the game. Tell him how big of an impact and how good it looks in your eyes going forward.
I mean, you guys are looking at the bona fide leader of the future. You know, anybody that's totally invested in this program, it'll be high praise, you know, in a whole minute. In the future, you know, ain't 2-3 years from now. You know, and I told Shannon, and I'm open with the lines of communication with all our kids. You know, if Shannon can't come back this year and we go into the spring, you know, that's Skylar's job. You got a kid that started 7 football games and a kid that started 2. We love Shannon to death, but Shannon going to have to earn that, you know, and I told him, you know, and Skylar got 3 more years, but it's going to be a great competition. Shannon said he understands they going to compete, but that's what you want, you know, coming into the spring. And we still got a lot of football left. We hoping that Shannon can come back and we can get that 1-2 punch. But if not, you know, I'm not going to put a kid that's not 100%, you know, in the football game for my own personal gain. And we'll do whatever necessary paperwork to see if he can get another year. But we know he got 1 more. But, you know, we so excited about Skylar. You know, we deemed him the future, and that's exactly what I see, you know. And we're going to bring recruits from a quarterback standpoint in here to try to beat him out. But just knowing who that guy is internally, you know, it'll be hard pressed. And I think that's what the place would need. I think just that leader that does things right. You know, he's going to get the grades. He's always watching film, he being respectful. You know, come from a state championship program, but he's not consumed with the culture in the past. He's the one that's saying, hey, coach, you know, we're going to do things right. You know, coach, I got the freshman. Coach, we're going to make sure, you know, if they ain't paying attention, I don't want to be a part of it. And I'm like, that's it. I got you. Whatever you need from me, just from a leadership standpoint, you do your part away from the building. And I'll take care of the rest.
Coach, in that fourth quarter, and you had an opportunity to tie it up, and you elected to go for it on 4th down. What was your process in terms of thinking, not going for the tie and really going for, you know, trying to get the first down?
The inability to kick field goals, you know, that was my whole deal. You know, if we would have got a couple of those off, even if we would have missed them, you know, I would have still elected to kick it. But when you get them blocked and you see what's happening, you know, I'd be a fool to sit there and try to, you know, put a square in a circle. I'm knowing that we ain't gonna get that off. That kid got too much length. They getting too much knockback, and that's not one unit that you make off the field adjustments. You know, on a field goal block unit, that's pretty much set in stone. So my deal was offensively, you know, let's win the football game. You know, I want these young kids to understand that I control the attitude of the team. If I sit back and just be you know, just keep things status quo in there, you know, sometimes they feel the same way. So I wanted to let them know I believe that we can win and we will win. Let's go for it. Put it on me. And just like I told them in the locker room, I stand in the middle of Pine Bluff and said, Coach did it. You know, don't blame my babies. You know, it ain't them. It's all me. And I'm a big boy. I can take responsibility for all that. And if I had to do it again, I'd do it all over because I believe in them.
In terms of the last touchdown they scored, was that just a breakdown in terms of coverage or just athleticism? We got a great call. We in a man-free look. They ran a little rub concept, but the kid got picked. So in the process, you know, of him, instead of just continue to run, because you look at the football, I mean, the ball just floating in the air. He still got opportunity to go get that football, but he get picked and he's panicked. You know, he's like, and then all of a sudden, you know, he don't finish the play. Well, you know, everything I do, and they probably gonna get tired of it, but I just tied into life. It don't matter. You know, you got to find a way to get it done. You headed to work, you get a flat. Man, calling in just ain't enough. You know, I got to be able to get to work on time because that's affecting me, my babies, and these bills that got to come in. And Sunday, he understood. He was just like, Cole, I just froze because I seen another man. I'm like, but this man covers. That ain't your man. I don't care what's going on. I don't care if you fall on your head. You go get your man.
He was like, I feel like I let the team down. Like, nah, I let the team down because I should have put you in that situation prior to it. You know, that's my job as a coach, as leadership, and a person in position of leadership. I should have put you in that situation prior to that. So it wasn't a system, and it wasn't personnel. It was just one of those things. And that's what I come out of the game so excited about, because when you break it down, you know, it's not a play, it's not a game where you sit there and say schematically they got one up on us, or two, athletically they were just better. And we've been in some games where athletically teams just been better, but this wasn't one of them. And I don't think it's going to be, you know, going forward. So we'll continue to get better, and I got to do a better job of putting them in those situations. And I think the off week will give me that opportunity.
LaRon Marbley, Deltaplex Radio. Coach, you talked a little bit about it, developing the players and finishing games and the winning attitude. With so many players coming from different programs, of course, everybody was not a winner in high school, so they may not know how to win or how to finish games. How do you portray that to your players as far as finishing? I mean, it's not like you can give them a drill to be able to finish ball games, but how do you portray that to your players to become winners and learn how to finish games out?
You know, past experiences, you know, and my journey, and not just mine, but the coaches. You know, Coach Gales was a part of a North Carolina Central team that wasn't successful. You know, and then get in there and all of a sudden they playing in the Celebration Bowl. Coach Rowe was part of a team, you know, as a defensive line coach, where we went and played a team in conference. You know, and I told my kids the same thing. We played a team that we had a lot of success against, and for whatever reason, you know, they didn't play the next week. You know, so we've been in situations as coaches to let these kids know, just really just trust us. That's the biggest thing, you know, just trust us. And then you give them the situations of how we rebuild those programs. We rebuild it with going to school. You know, everything started with going to school, you know, being accountable in the classroom. Because if you're accountable there, the same characteristics you use in that classroom, you got to use it to football. But I got to get you taken care of in the classroom first. You know, then the discipline part, doing things right when I'm not around, when coach is not around, you know, and then you get that part taken care of. And then in the weight room, you know, maximizing your strength and your athleticism, and then the thinking part with football. You know, they think it's such a man's game and it's all physical, and that's not even, you know, a third of it. You know, it's the mental part of it. So you just got to continue to put them in those situations just verbally, and then show them and lead by example. If coaches walking around moping, administrators walking around with their head down, and you can't give them the why, our kids want to know why. And when you can tell them why and you can show them, you know, then they all in. So I'm excited about that part, because they can look at the background, my background, and see the journey of success. And I can tell them, you know, one thing I won't do to them is lie to them, and they know that. You know, so they stick to the script and believe in where we're going. And I just told them overall in the locker room, just trust me. You know, trust me. You know, that's all I need you to do. I don't need you to listen to nobody else. I don't need you to buy in to nobody else, just this room. And if I can't get it done, then, you know, I deal with it accordingly. But I know what's going on, and I know we got a chance because I've been in it, you know, dead front and center. And I'm not going to waver for them. And all I need them to do is just trust me. So that's what we're doing. You know, we putting them in those situations. Just a mindset. That's all it is. You know, it's just a mindset. My babies my young men gotta believe. And right now, like I said, they didn't play that football game to win that football game. They played not to lose that football game, and it's a big difference. So we're gonna get them the mindset of we're gonna win this football game. We don't need you to do something wrong or to not block a field goal for us to win this game. We're gonna make this block, and we're gonna make these plays, and we're gonna win this football game on our own.
Thanks, Coach.
Welcome back,
Coach.
Bubba.
I'm sorry I missed the other.
Welcome back.
Huh?
Welcome back.
Oh, thank you. Coach, I'd like to start off right quick with your recruiting. You know, when we talk about the big picture, as far as the fans are concerned, I don't think that everybody realizes how well of a job you did recruiting this year. You came here late, and you got some prime time players. You got Shannon, the quarterback. You got Wilkes, the receiver. You got Singleton from Pine Bluff High. You really did some recruiting on a very limited schedule, a limited amount of time. Would you comment on, if we give you another year, I think that you'll have the athletes in place that'll really make a difference.
Yeah, that 1 year gonna turn into a lot of years. But just looking at it, I'm just telling you now. I know we got a lot of football left, but when you look at that roster offense, and I'm just gonna start there. You know, I'm not coming in a situation where I got to overhaul the whole thing right now, because the offense did a great job coming in late. You look at Mark Evans, who didn't play Saturday, but a true freshman. He started 5 games at the left tackle. Bradley Burrell, who ended up starting at the junior college transfer kid who started this week, he's there. You know, both of those kids are there they'll be here for the next 2 to 4 years, 2 to 3 years at least, with one, graduating in 2. You know, the left tackle, A.J. Smith, who's been here, he's a sophomore. Jaden Glover's a sophomore. David Adu, the only senior that we losing up front that's playing a whole bunch. And that ain't even the 2 studs that we got, babies, that just, hadn't played much because of the depth. So Noah Hayes and Caleb Batiste on the offensive line, all those guys are returning. So now you go to the skill guys. You look at DeJuan Miller, who made some big-time catches as a true freshman. He's coming back. Then you still got Kobe McNeil. You still got Rav, who's sophomores. Then you get Taylor Porter back. You get both quarterbacks back. You get Wilkes back, off of injury, and for 2 years, because he's done for the year. So we can let the Josh Wilkes thing lay to rest, But he back for 2 more years. So that whole offensive structure, that whole core, be back not only for a year, but you talking about 2 more years. So we laughing and excited, because those babies gonna grow up and they're gonna be big boys one day. And I won't be sitting here and the narrative won't be, hey, we learning how to win. It'll be we winning and by how much. I can promise you that. But on the defensive side, it's a little different. We got some guys that we gotta overhaul and get some guys in, because we losing. We losing a AJ, we losing a Lockwood, we losing a Kevin Carter, those guys, so we losing a lot more defensively. So we'll use this year's recruiting class to up the defensive numbers. And then after that, it's time to go. And even now, some of you got Ty Harris, a true freshman linebacker that's running around, making a lot of plays for us, and doing a good job. So Sean Steele made a big-time interception, who's a sophomore. So it's some young guys back there defensively. We just got to overhaul and get some better kids from a junior college standpoint up front, and we'll be right in the mix. So we're excited.
Very good, Coach. Coach, on the scoreboard, we lost the game. But on paper, we beat them. On the stats, we beat them. I think, had we been able to kick the field goals, which we normally would count on, 3 attempts, we were in that game. We'd have won the game. There was another play where their player was tackled, and he actually touched the ground and got up and ran a touchdown. On replay, we saw where his elbow touched the ground. Now, do we have replay? His butt touched the ground. Do we have replay? Are we allowed this year in the SWAC?
Yeah, some teams have it. I think we one of 4 that don't have it at the moment. But human error. He made a mistake and he didn't get it right.
Because that was the game right there on that play.
He cost me. So if I don't get that second year, I'm gonna make sure I bring that up.
Coach, I'd like to read some of these stats to show you how we won. First downs, Jackson State 15, UAPB 25. Rushing yards, 31 for 154 for them, 47 for 214 for us. Passing, 246, us 300. Punts average, they beat us in punt average. Return yards, they got 45, we got 133. Penalty yards was what hurt us. They got 5 for 48, we got 13 for 157. Time of possession, they got 26 minutes, we got 33. We beat them almost all the way around. Just one thing here, one thing there, and we'd have been victory. We would have been victorious. And I'm just looking forward to that time when those penalties or other mistakes don't happen, and we're going to win a string of games, hopefully before this season is over.
And that's the plan. I think, that's what the kids and that's what the coaching staff, everybody is just locked, hook, line, and sinker, doing this off week to clean some of those things up and, keep pushing forward, because these next 5 or 6, however many we got, we can very well win them all and we can very well lose them all. It's all on us now. We control our own destiny, and I think the kids will be up for it.
Okay, this is really not a questions about the gang and all this. My question is this. I stood right here last season and asked this question: when will the SWAC get instant replay? And was told that they would have instant replay this year. And with that, we all sit here and watch us lose a football game on Saturday because of no instant replay. And my statement, instant replay is as important as any equipment that we have in football today. And it's bad for these young men to put out all their efforts and lose a football game when they know the man touched the ground with his elbow and his butt. And it's unfair to any team, not just UA, any team. And it's a crime that the administration and the SWAC is allowing this to happen. Thank you. And by the way, I'm Coach Harold Blevins, a retired coach here. I coached 6 years here in basketball. I'm an alumni. And it's really a shame that these young men have to lose a football game because of instant replay. Thank you.
Coach, Hall of Famer Coach, thank you. We will, we've had some changes made in the last few months, and we will let our athletic director address that exact comment, because that's a really good question, and we agree. So, Melvin Hines II, our director of athletics, if you could break that down, please.
We had a rule change within the conference office. 2 years ago in the SWAC, we voted to bring instant replay to the conference. It was going to be 1 year optional. This year it's supposed to have been mandatory for all schools. But at the time, all schools didn't have the capability, so they voted 1 more additional year for it to be optional. Next year will be mandatory for all schools in the Southwestern Athletic Conference to have replay officials. So we do have the capabilities for instant replay. So we'll make sure in the future that we have all the right things that we need for as replay officials and everything scheduled to be at the game. So, we've had a lot of transition in the last couple months here and even at the conference office. So you will see that won't be something that will continue to happen within this conference.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that, Hall of Famer. Excellent. All right, any other questions regarding the Jackson State game before we focus on the Valley game in 2 weeks? Perfect. All right, we will not have a coach's luncheon next week due to our bye week, of course. So feel free to ask any questions that you might want to leading into the Valley game. I know we still got a lot of football to be played. Things will change next week. But if you have any general questions for Coach Thomas regarding the Mississippi Valley game on October 20th, we will take those at this time.
All right, first off, Coach, as far as watching Valley play this week, how would the team go about it? Will you guys do that together? And just have you scouted them out any at all at this point?
Yeah, I've been in the league for a long time, so, I pretty much got all of them broken down now. That's all the way up to Texas Southern for the last game of the season. But just going into this week, we'll keep it as is. Today we'll go in and make corrections from last week, but we'll also get on Valley and start looking at the normal down plays and the special team concepts. So, these kids will know doing this off week is technically not an off week as it relates to the preparation part of it. It's just we'll take bits and pieces and we'll use this week, you know, to really get ahead. So next week we just kind of cleaning up some of the schematics, may put some special things in because we always got a week on them. But the week ago is scheduled as if we playing a game on Saturday.
From your experience in the league, could you just talk about Valley's home field advantage? Seems like they usually play better at home than they do on the road. Just address that.
Yeah, you know, I visit that institution. I pretty much stayed, you know, my whole life 30 minutes away from it, and you know, I understand I think it's homecoming. The atmosphere be crazy. You know, the coaches, you know, he's in the transition phase, such as I am. You know, he got his guys playing hard. They was up 14-0 against Bethune on Saturday, and just kind of let it slip away. You know, and I know recruited a lot of those kids, and they'll be up. You know, they'll be up, and it'll be a hostile environment, which is good. You know, we need to be in all those situations now, so we can get the kinks out. But you know, we flew to FIU and flew to South Dakota, so I don't think going to beat them just from that part will be a problem. But those guys do play hard and play well in front of their home crowd, and they beat us the last 2 years. So you know, they'll think that we'll be an easy catch for them, and I just got to get my guys prepared and mentally and physically ready to go out and play a good game 2 Saturdays from now.
Coach, Valley is another team that we match up with pretty well. 2 weeks off. When you're going into this week on Saturday, is it any worries that it'll kind of throw your team off? Being, you know, sometimes you're playing, as we can tell, we play a lot better on Saturday, and sometimes when you're playing well, that week off can maybe hurt you more than help you. Do you think it'll affect our team in that way at all? Not playing on Saturday.
I don't think so. But you know, it's always good. A good dialogue, because you know it's all new for us. But I know what I'll do to keep them in tune to what's going on, and that's just making sure they go to work. I told them I don't need mamas and daddies calling me about no bus tickets and plane tickets going home on Wednesday and Thursday. 1, we got school, and 2, we got practice. So if it ain't Friday out the class, we ain't going home. And they understand that. You know, I get a lot of, Coach, my mama came down, can I take her to the airport? I'm like, no, you ain't gonna be able to take mama to the airport. We gotta go to work. So I think they understand in that. So, you know, what I'm gonna do is just bombard them with a whole bunch of Valley, you know, understanding that, hey, they 2 years up on us, but here's how you use a off week, because I don't know, you know, in years past how they used the off week, you know. So what I'm gonna do is just get them to understand the foundation of, hey, we gotta get ahead, you know. We gotta use this to get healthy, one, you know, get out all the small details of Mississippi Valley. So next week we're adding things, you know, to what they do to try to, you know, put them in a situation, because they got to play this week. So those are the things that I'm going to go in this week, you know, getting accomplished, establishing, you know, a different rotation and doing some things schematically a little different that we got time to work on. But that's a great question, you know, but I'm going to have my hands on them as much as I can. I'm going to let coaches get out and go do some recruiting Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but I'll be here with them the whole week, making sure that, you know, we don't lose what we starting to build in 4 or 5 days.
I'll take one, Coach. If anybody knows you, you're a very serious individual, a hard worker. You got your first bye week coming up. Non-football related, what are you going to do for fun?
Football. Yeah.
That's what I like to hear, Coach.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Coach, we behind you here.
I appreciate it.
All right, any more questions for the Valley game before we conclude? All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we thank you for coming to our weekly football coaches luncheon here at the Black and Gold Room. We'd always like to thank our wonderful people in the back, our Mark, Mr. Avery, Miss Rosa, Miss Linda, Matthew, everybody doing a great job. So on behalf of our Chancellor, Dr. Alexander, and our athletic director, Melvin Hines II, and our wonderful head coach, Cedric Thomas, we thank each and every one of you for coming out here, and without further ado, let's eat.